سلام على عباده الذين اصطفى أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم فلا تك في مرية مما يعبد هؤلاء ما يعبدون إلا كما يعبد آباؤهم من قبل وإنا لموفوهم نصيبهم غير منقوص ولقد آتينا موسى الكتاب فاختلف فيه ولولا كلمة سبقت من ربك لقضي بينهم وإنهم لفي شك منه مريب وإن كلا لما ليوفينهم ربك أعمالهم إنه بما يعملون خبير فاستقم كما أمرت ومن تاب معك ولا تطغوا إنه بما تعملون بصير ولا تركنوا إلى الذين ظلموا فتمسكم النار وما لكم من دون الله من أولياء ثم لا تنصرون صدق الله العظيم وبلغنا رسوله النبي الكريم ونحن على ذلك من الشاهدين والشاكرين والحمد لله رب العالمين. Surah Hood. Last time in this session we read about how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is, after having narrated the stories of different nations, different people who did not listen to their Nabi and did kufr and major sins. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala punished them. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala turned the discussion towards the day of judgment and the severity of that day. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us that there's going to be two kinds of people there, Shaqi or Sa'id. Those who are Sa'id, they will be in the Jannah forever and ever. And those who are Shaqi, who did not listen, they will be in the hellfire, crying and without hope. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala never make us from among them. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us from the people of Jannah. Ameen. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving some commands to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And in reality the commands are for the whole ummah and the listeners and the readers of the Quran. فَلَا تَكُ فِي مِرْيَةٍ مِّمَّا يَعْبُدُ هَؤُلَاءِ. So be not in doubt about what they worship. مَا يَعْبُدُونَ إِلَّا كَمَا يَعْبُدُ آبَاؤُهُم مِّن قَبْلِ. They worship nothing except in the same way that their fathers used to worship earlier. وَإِنَّا لَمُوَفُّوهُمْ نَصِيبَهُمْ غَيْرَ مَنْقُوصٍ. Surely we are going to pay them their full share, غَيْرَ مَنْقُوصٍ, not curtailed, not cut short in the least bit. So they are going to get their full punishment. Therefore the people, of course, the Prophet ﷺ, his faith was perfect. He will never be in doubt about what these people are, the mushrikeen, the kuffar, are worshipping. But no matter how colorful, no matter how pressurizing the environment may be, no matter these kuffar, these mushrikeen, whatever they are worshipping, do not be in doubt about it. Worship your Allah alone and be steadfast on it. And Allah is going to make sure that they get their full punishment. Allah is going to give them full punishment. These people are doing all that these people in the past, their Aba, their Ajdad, their forefathers had done in the past. They are doing the same. This is their way, and Allah is going to repay them in full. وَلَقَدْ آتَيْنَا مُوسَى الْكِتَابَ فَاخْتُلِفَ فِيهِ وَلَوْلَا كَلِمَةٌ سَبَقَتْ مِنْ رَبِّكَ لَقُضِيَ بَيْنَهُمْ وَإِنَّهُمْ لَفِي شَكٍّ مِّنْهُ مُرِيبٍ. Here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this ayah is referring again to Sayyidina Musa ala Nabi alayhi salatu wassalam and how his people disputed with him about it. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, وَلَقَدْ آتَيْنَا مُوسَى الْكِتَابَ, and we gave Musa the book, فَاخْتُلِفَ فِيهِ, and it was disputed about. وَلَوْلَا كَلِمَةٌ سَبَقَتْ مِنْ رَبِّكَ لَقُضِيَ بَيْنَهُمْ. But for a word from your Lord that had already come to pass, which is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had decided when their punishment is going to come to them. وَإِنَّهُمْ, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in his perfect knowledge had not decided for that specific time, then their punishment would have come right away. وَإِنَّهُمْ لَفِي شَكٍّ مِّنْهُ مُرِيبٍ. And they were only in confounding doubt over doubt, confusing themselves about that book. وَإِنَّ كُلًّا لَمَّا لَيُوَفِّيَنَّهُمْ رَبُّكَ أَعْمَالَهُم. All of them, all the kuffar, no matter they be in the time of the Prophet ﷺ and in the previous nations of Ad and Samud and the people of Lut, the people of Shu'aib, Ashabul Aikah, all of these Anbiya alayhim as-salam, all of them, and the mushrikeen and the kuffar that will come after the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is promising, وَإِنَّ كُلًّا لَمَّا لَيُوَفِّيَنَّهُمْ رَبُّكَ أَعْمَالَهُمْ إِنَّهُ بِمَا يَعْمَلُونَ خَبِيرٌ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to pay them in full for their deeds. Surely He is aware of all that they do. Nobody should think that they are doing and Allah is not looking, Allah is not seeing, Allah does not know. Then the command, the ayah that the Prophet ﷺ has said that this ayah made me old. When Sahabi asked the Prophet ﷺ, he saw white hair in the beard of the Prophet ﷺ. He said, Ya Rasulullah, you have become old. The Prophet ﷺ said, Surah Hood made me old. And in that, this ayah, فَاسْتَقِمْ كَمَا أُمِرْتَ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commanded the Prophet ﷺ, is commanding the Prophet ﷺ, stand firm. Kama umid, as you have been commanded. The Prophet ﷺ was asked to stand firm on faith, and standing firm means being erect and not tilting towards anywhere, not tilting towards, not being impressed by anything, not tilting here, not tilting there, standing firm. Of course the Prophet ﷺ stood firm, but what made the Prophet ﷺ old is Kama umid, the right of the greatness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. How Allah has commanded you, how Allah deserves that you stand firm on His command. That is what the Mufassirin have made clear, that is what made the Prophet ﷺ old, because no human being, not even the Prophet ﷺ, can fulfill the right of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But the special mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that for people like you and me, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has also said, وَمَنْ تَابَ مَعَكَ, as well as those who, having repented, have joined you. So the specific referral is to the Sahaba who were mushrikeen in the past. Some of them were kuffar and they repented from their kufr and joined the company of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But therein is hope for people like you and me, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is calling us that we are also with the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, with our tawbah, with repenting. We are also part of the team of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. وَلَا تَطْغَوْا, and do not be among those who are rebellious, who cross the limits, and the limits of, particularly the limits of faith into kufr. Do not be among those. لَا تَطْغَوْا, the minimum that you're supposed to do, the people who are doing tawbah and repenting and trying their best to stay steadfast, is that do not cross into the boundary of kufr. إِنَّهُ بِمَا تَعْمَلُونَ بَصِيرٌ, whatever you do, Allah is fully aware of what you do, watchful of what you do. وَلَا تَرْكَنُوا, the second important command is وَلَا تَرْكَنُوا, do not incline, إِلَى الَّذِينَ ظَلَمُوا, towards the wrongdoers. So Hasan Basri rahmatullahi alayhi has said that all the teachings of deen have come in these two commands, La tatghaw wa la tarkanu. Do not be rebellious, do not turn your back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, do not be arrogant to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and do not tilt towards the enemies of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Do not, and tarkanu here means that not in belief, of course. Nobody thinks that this would be appropriate or acceptable that people of Iman tilt towards the people of Kufr in their belief, but it means that do not even be impressed by them. Do not even have a soft corner for them. Do not even think that in any way they might be better than you, or do not even think for a fraction of a second that they might be right, although they are not listening to Allah and Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Do not look like them, do not love them, do not stay in their company. All of these tafasir have been mentioned in detail in this word, that do not be impressed, do not tilt towards them even in a single bit, in whatever way possible, physically, in your intellectual ways, in your thinking, do not be tilted towards them. وَلَا تَرْكَنُوا إِلَى الَّذِينَ ظَلَمُوا فَتَمَسَّكُمُ النَّارِ. If you tilt towards them, then the fire might touch you. You tilt towards them, don't do that lest the fire touches you. وَمَا لَكُم مِّن دُونِ اللَّهِ مِنْ أَوْلِيَاءَ. You have no supporters other than Allah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and all the believers till eternity, that till the last day, that the only supporter that you have is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Even if you tilt towards them, even if you try to follow their ways, they will not be able to help you. They will not be able to save you. You have no support except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. ثُمَّ لَا تُنصَرُونَ. If you listen to them and if you tilt towards them, if you incline towards them, if you have an inclination towards them in any way, then the fire will touch you, and the only supporter, he is not going to support you, and apart from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you will not have any support. You shall not be helped. ثُمَّ لَا تُنصَرُونَ. You will not be helped. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us. Here, from this ayah, in the ma'arif of this ayah, Hazrat al-Mufassirin have also written that istiqamat, being steadfast over what you have been commanded, is the real deal. What Allah has commanded you, by the Quran it is proven that that has been kept within your reach and under your control. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not unjust. Whatever command Allah gives to us, first Allah makes it within our reach, gives control to us over it. Then the command comes that you do that. Whatever has been kept within us, the capacity has been given to us first, and then we have been given the command. And that is the real deal. What you have been told to do, do. Be steadfast on doing that and forget about everything else. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم. ربنا ظلمنا أنفسنا وإن لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين. اللهم اجعلنا من أهل القرآن الذي أهلك وخاصتك. وصلى الله تعالى على خير خلقه سيدنا ومولانا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. آمين برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين.